Hello, and good morning, and welcome to another episode of Talk to Tanner, the show where we go over tips, tricks, ideas to help make you the best version of yourself for the ones you not only care about, but yourself as you continue to progress and grow as an entrepreneur. And today we're having a really fun topic. We're going over real estate. We're going over 8 reasons why. 8 reasons why. Oh, it only got me into my 5. We'll add the other 2 here in a second. We're going to go over these first 5, and then I'll hop on over here. Let me go ahead and hide this real quick. So we're going over 8 reasons why people make a lot of money in real estate, why it's a natural vehicle, why are there 9 out of every 10 millionaires are through property ownership. Specifically here in America or across the nation, we've seen more people become millionaires off of real estate. And it's like, what's the big deal? What's going on with it? Why is it continuing to go? So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to rattle through. And can I leave this in the comments? Good morning. Good morning. So we went ahead and throw those up in the comments. So these is our 8 right before we get started. Hello. My face is kind of cut off in here halfway through, but these are the 8 reasons why people continue to make a crap load of money in real estate. And we're going to go ahead and run through these real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off my screen back and forth as you can see it. Number 1 is accessible. So it's accessible. Number 1, the benefit to real estate is that it's accessible. You can legally buy it. You can go up to it. You can see it. You can walk it. You can have the opportunity, the rights. The government and everybody who runs our civilization wants us to be property owners. So it's set up, they are accessible. There is no restraints on, say, if I want to go down to Texas, I can go buy some property down to Texas, such as if I want to go up to New York, then we could go up to New York and I could buy it there. Number 1, accessibility, the rights to own the property. We have the rights to own it. Number 2, appreciable. Number 2, appreciation. We'll go ahead and pop this back up real quick. Number 2, appreciable, goes up in value over time. When you think of things that go up in value over time and things that go down in value over time, people talk a lot about cars. Cars, how they go, you drive them off the lot and they lose 40% in value. Whereas real estate, statistically, over hundreds and hundreds of years, property has done nothing but go up in value. There's dips, there's rises, there's falls, and people who time the market appropriately to make better returns that way. But for our sake, it's an appreciable asset. It goes up over time. Real estate goes up in value over time. So it appreciates. And there are 2 types of appreciation. We don't want to get too nitty-gritty with each one as we're rolling through, but you have natural appreciation. That's when just the city of Chicago is the city of Chicago, and properties continue to go up in value as there's job growth, as there's people, just millions of people there. Say it's right on the lake. That's a geographical landlock. So you can't build on, you're not building in the water. So you're building those properties on the coast, got a nice lock and a block on them. So they continue to go up in value. That's something like natural appreciation versus forced appreciation is when you go in and you fix up a beat up property. Say if I buy a total piece of shit and I put in new kitchens, new bathrooms, the whole 9, and I get it all rented out, I'm forcing the property to be nicer, so it's going to go up in value. So that's a quick little thing on natural and forced appreciation. Number 3, we're going to keep rolling with it. Number 3, real estate is leverageable. Real estate is leverageable. If I go to buy a property for $100,000 and I put a 20% down payment on it, $20,000, that's a 20% down payment. So when I buy this house, it is $100,000. Say if a year goes down the road, we just got another employer in the area. We have more people who are buying. Interest rates are starting to get pulled back a little bit, and it goes up to $110,000 in value. Now I have someone who wants to pay me $110,000 for this property. Well, I only had to put $20,000 down, but I get to keep the full $10,000 that it's gained in value. So that's a huge reason why. So that increases my cash on cash return. So if I put $20,000 down and I sold it the next day for 100 and I just got my 20 grand back, no money made. But so if I put $20,000 down, I sell it for 110 a year later, I get 66% return on my money, cash on cash return, because I made the 10,000 that it went up in value. I know I'm not writing on the board today, so that could be a little confusing. Message me if you ever want to break down the leverage it. And the big thing I'm going to say with leverage is that there's good debt and there's bad debt. I still fully believe that when you buy a personal residence, your own home, it's a liability, not an asset, because we're paying as things break, we're paying the debt, we're paying, so that's a liability. That's an expense. Versus good debt, when that someone else pays your bills. Think of good debt and bad debt just simply as, does it put money in your pocket every month, or does it put money in someone else's pocket every month? Leverageable debt. A lot of questions. You can talk to investment bankers, you can talk to loan officers, or reach out to me if you want it. Debt can is kind of confusing, but it's a huge reason why so many people become millionaires in real estate. Rentable, number 4, rentable. So let's go ahead and pop up the increase. We're on here, number 4, rentable. Create income cash flow. One of the greatest things ever about real estate, and pretty much if you don't have this, you don't have shit when it comes to investment property, is you need renters and you need them to pay rent. And not only do you need them to pay rent, you need them to pay it on time, because there are bills for these properties. You have taxes, you have insurance, you have the principal and interest on your loan at the bare minimum, let alone if you do pay for some of your utilities, which I do on one of my properties, and I pay the gas, the electric, all that kind of stuff. So you can see the timeliness of and how much, because if you don't have the rental income and you're responsible for paying all of those bills, that is going to completely wipe your returns. Your returns are based off of the rental income. And now there are ways to help create other additional types of income. Like I have a property where it's making money off of laundry, coin operated laundry. I have a property where it's making money off of a separate detached garage that I rent out for storage. So if you're creative enough, then you can kind of find other ways to help increase your returns and your income, because a lot of times rental properties are based and they're valued off of their income. So the more money they make, the more money that they're worth. Still rolling right through. So rentable. Number 5, improvable. We talked a little bit. I'm not going to re-go over this one too much. Forced and natural appreciation. You can improve real estate. You can put a roof on it. You can put new windows in it. You can put another bathroom in it, and you can make it worth more money. This is a huge reason why so many people become millionaires through real estate, improving it. Next, we have just incredible, and this probably is appreciation and the rental. I mean, these are all important, right? They're all important. I'm going to sit here and say that one's not important than the other. But number 6, tax benefits. Tax benefits are one of the kings of why real estate is so good, compared to why I like it a lot more than, I still have low index funds and stocks, but I like putting more money into real estate because of the tax benefits are insane. Number 1, deductible. You can have deductions. Deductions are essentially where you have to pay You got to pay to fix real estate. You got to pay to keep it running. You got to pay all of these things, and you can deduct certain expenses in certain categories at certain percentages to help lower your income, or essentially it makes you look like on paper you're not making a lot of money, but you are, and you pay less in taxes. And less you pay in taxes, which goes to our next benefit, deferrable. All this is very tried and true with most millionaires, with people who are buying properties, who are buying companies. They want to defer their taxes. They want to kick the tax down the line as much as possible, because their numbers, we want the values of our businesses, the values of our properties, we want them compounding off of larger numbers today than having to lose that money to Uncle Sam and have to pay it up front and pay it later when we're in a more ideal tax situation, right? When our income's lower, then that's the time we would want to be paying taxes, right? Depreciable. So if you buy something, like, say if you put a roof on it, say if you put new windows, like these major structural changes to properties, you get a huge thing. It's called, so they like take it over like 27 and a half years, or they take the life of a building, and then you get a chunk each year to write off on your taxable income each year to help with lowering how much you're going to owe in taxes, essentially. So you can pay up front, you can lower the quality of how much you're making today to improve the building. So if I put a new roof on it, now it's worth another 20 grand, but I also get to write off that 20 grand on my income over the next 27 and a half years, or whatever the schedule is. I use my tax guy for that kind of stuff on the small details of it, but we're in the ballpark and we're able to write it, do it in our underwriting to make sure that it's a good return for me. And also being very careful of, you have to pay, it's depreciation recapture. So you have to pay a percentage of what you're writing off at the very end when you go to sell it. And when people aren't smart investors, they don't save the small little monies, because you can't get out of everything for Uncle Sam. That's one of the things I wish I would have learned right away. You can't just write everything off completely. Granted, in this business, it is way more forgiving than anything I have ever seen ever. From a business perspective, property ownership is very, very great with the tax benefits. So tax benefits, amazing in real estate. A huge reason why 9 out of 10 millionaires come from the world of real estate. Next, stability. So stability is great with real estate because you simply just don't lose money usually unless you sell it. It doesn't skyrocket in value like you've seen, such as things in like cryptocurrencies. You've seen certain technology stocks where they just jump like 2,000% gains. Real estate doesn't really do that. The best bet, that the biggest jumps in value that I've ever seen were people bought properties, investment properties, where you rent it out, say it's like a 12 unit apartment building, and then they fixed it up, forced appreciation. It was in a really nice area, so natural appreciation as well, so double compounding effect. And then they rented it out, they improved it, got the income up, the cash flow, and the property's based off of how much money it brings in. So it went from a small amount of value to a huge amount of value. Those are usually the biggest swings that I've ever seen within the world of real estate, is like that time. But you're not going to see, essentially, don't think you're going to buy like me. Between my girlfriend and I, we have 6 properties. Well, we'll have 6 here pretty shortly, but we can't expect these handful of properties to go up to $2 million here in overnight, or I don't expect them to go down in value, but we can put systems and business things in place to help increase the income, reduce the expenses, make it more efficient, make the model down, so we can start bringing in outside investors. So we can have other partnerships, people who can find us deals. We can make more attractive cash offers to be more competitive in the marketplace, these types of things. So the stability is pretty good compared to stocks, where I don't want to go too much of a rant on this, but the stock market, they always calculate, they're like 8% return year on year. It's like, that's not actually how it works. You make the stock market makes like all of its money like in 1 to 2 days of the year. And then if you missed out on that, you fucked. Like, so if you didn't buy in, or say if you sold right before COVID, like, or if you sold during the COVID collapse, like it was March 2020, if you sold in there and then it ripped back up to 4,800, I'm talking about the S&P 500. This is my favorite thing to invest in. And it ripped all the way back up and you missed that huge jump, like you're not getting an 8% return on turn. Inflation's up 9%, so you would have already lost on that. But we won't dive too much into that. If you have more questions on that kind of stuff, you can always chat with me one-on-one, or use the link in our description to set up a business meeting, and we can kind of go over the investing in that stuff. But yeah, what I'm saying is you want to buy as much stock as you can and just hold on to it, and don't try and time the market. It's fucking impossible. Compared to real estate, where we run into our last, and one of the things that makes real estate so great is that it's livable. It's livable. Although it is a liability to own your home and live in it, you got to live somewhere, right? I can be that guy who's like, oh, they say, Tanner, why would you pay rent when you can have an asset in your home? It just depends on what you're willing to do. And there's like this one golden rule with like home ownership, and whether it's an asset or a liability. If you do not plan on living in this home for like 7 years minimum, just rent. That's my opinion. If you don't plan on living in this property for at least a handful of years, it's usually a better return to just rent and invest the difference in your money. Because paying for maintenance, paying for all that bullshit, and it takes time. Like real estate's a slow churning game. But this is actually, when you do the statistics, this is actually where a lot of people get their equity, is in home ownership. They buy a house that they love, they live in it with it for 20 years with their family, and it's worth a couple $100,000. And that's a huge chunk of their portfolio. So your residence can bring your net worth a lot of money over time. It's one of those lawyer answers where it depends on if you're moving, if you're having kids. But the whole city, the thing that makes me upset is the whole city thing that they have going on. They're like, you have one more child, and then a realtor and a loan officer is just running. You need a bigger house. You need a bigger house. You need a bigger loan on your house. And they move every 2 years. The only people who are making any money are the realtors and the loan officers, the title attorneys. You're not making any money. I'm just saying, if you write it down dollar for dollar, if you're not holding this thing for at least a couple years, chances are you're the one getting fucked. But rant done on that one. I have a lot of realtor and loan friends who do a lot of great work, and I love them. But when we're being blunt and honest, we're just writing down the paperwork. I personally don't recommend buying a single family home unless you plan to live on it, plan to live in it for a while. Then it can have some good benefits, right? Essentially, also in your own personal residence, you can write things off on your taxes, and there's a whole slew of other things. You can write off the interest that you pay on your mortgage, yada yada. But talk to a tax guy more about that, or message me directly if you want to talk to my tax guy. I don't care. I'll ask him if he's taking on more business or not. But these are 8 reasons why real estate is one of the keys to the Cadillac to becoming a millionaire. 9 out of 10 millionaires come through real estate. And I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to continue to become more expensive to buy property. Owning land, having your own space is really, really nice. I enjoy it greatly. And I'm sure many, many people do. Whether when it comes time for me and my lady to have kids, or however we plan on working it out, having land, having property has and will become more expensive over time. And I think everyone will continue to need a place to live. So it's only going to be forced to go up in value. But these are, again, 8 reasons why many people become millionaires through real estate. It's over on our Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube Live over here for our friends joining us over here at Instagram. I hope you guys all enjoyed this morning show. I'm running a few minutes over. I hope you guys all are having a great Monday morning. Let's make sure we're learning some shit. We're getting some stuff done. It's Monday. We said we were going to be doing this. We said we were going to be trying that. What is it that you are going to do today to help improve yourself and become the person you want to be tomorrow? If you don't have a coach, right here, I'm your guy. Sign up for a free coaching session. I have my Linktree link in the description below. Please share with someone if you think they're an entrepreneur. They want to double their income and maintain work-life balance. That's what I'm doing here. I'll double your income and we will essentially help you have better work-life balance. If you're willing to go down this road, try out something, you can try out a free session in the Linktree link below. Make sure to like us on our social medias. Leave a comment. Really appreciate it. It helps out. We do this show every single morning for free to help give out the content to show people that no matter where you're from, what you're doing, you can get into this. It's not rocket science, whether it's investing in rental properties or starting your own business. You just got to figure out what you like. Figure out what you're actually interested in, why the hell you should actually do it. You got to have a good why, got to understand what we're trying to do, what are the benefits, what are the pros, and what are the cons. Okay, that's it. I'm off the soapbox. I'm getting out of here today. I got a bunch of work to do myself. We got to run to a couple rentals, and I got a couple meetings with some people for possible rentals and renters. So it should be exciting. Also, another meeting with one of my partners that I'm looking forward to. So cheers to that. Cheers to you guys. I'm heading out. I'll be back here live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. See y'all then. Cheers.